This is us. Watching Ben
This is us.
pluck
The
birds.
advantages of being the manager.
Mm.
Well, so how long have we had chickens, buddy?
Oh, geez. We moved here December 14. All of 15 we were with your parents, and then renting into 16. So I think we moved here in October 16.
Yep.
And so it probably would have been the spring of 17.
Yep.
Spring of
This is my
17?
birthday present.
Yeah, spring of
Chickens.
17. That we picked up our first breed, speckled Sussex.
And that was just a trial run to see if we liked chickens.
Yep.
And we really liked fresh eggs and
Speckled Sussex laid
speckled Sussex, sorry.
a lot of eggs.
Speckled Sussex laid a lot of eggs, and their meat was really good.
Yeah.
They just didn't grow to standard. So I looked up the standard and saw they were supposed to be like a 9-pound rooster and a 6.5, 7-pound hen.
Yep.
They never got there.
We picked them up from a large commercial hatchery.
Yep.
I think they were like $2 a piece.
Yeah.
And
Very reasonable.
very reasonable price, but not reasonable with regards to spending 3 years trying to breed back up to breed standard weight. You got the conformation, you got the coloring, you got their hip to pelvic stuff for the size of the bird was good. We just couldn't get the weight. So
And we did slaughter some,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we did finish them out the same way. And at that point, we had been watching YouTube videos by Swedish Homestead, Alex and Simeon, over there. They were in Sweden at the time, and they had breasts, and that's where we heard about finishing birds for a couple of weeks. And so we did that with our Sussex, and they were very tasty. They just weren't big. So after watching his videos, or their videos, I should say, we thought, wow, we really want to try this breed. And we ordered some breasts from, the importers. There isn't a lot of people that have them. And so we found them and paid a pretty decent price for them. And we got 10. And they were all different. We were a little disappointed because they were not
disappointed, to say the
they
least.
were not consistently the same at all between the 10 birds. And we ended up keeping out of that only one rooster and 3 or 4 hens out of the 10.
Really,
and those
only
hens
3 hens.
Yeah, the hens weren't even that great. So we got some more birds after that. We did butcher those roosters, and I think we sold one of those hens just for somebody for egg laying. And we got some more birds, and this time we ordered them from another hatchery, and those birds were quite a bit better. They were bigger. They had a lot more consistent coloring. Can't remember anything offhand about those birds that really stuck out as bad.
We had
some of the
that looked
roosters
like
were real,
pterodactyls.
yeah, they were tall.
They were like torpedoes. Their bodies, I mean, they would be standing and they looked like this. If you notice our videos, the birds are they're like this with their head. Well, these were, man, they were up here.
Their tail was like on the ground,
brutally mean to the rest of the flock. I mean, they were
So they were
pure
like
straight on predators.
we called them our pterodactyl birds, and those we did not keep. We butchered those.
Butchered that whole, whatever we saw that had that trait, went away.
So we were getting an eye for the bird there, even at the beginning. And after watching lots of videos with Alex and Simeon and looking at their birds, it gave me an eye for, okay, the bird should be nice and large. It should have a nice straight back. You should see them fill out pretty quickly. And so after that, we started hatching and started keeping the best birds, and it's just a self-perpetuating system. Never too many roosters, or too many hens, for that matter.
Nope, not when you're going to cull them.
No.
Not when you got to sift through all the chaff.
Right. So fast forward to this last year, we're now from 10 to 20 breasts. They lay lots of really nice big eggs, and they are just such wonderful birds. So we ended up hatching a lot, and we got some birds from our mentor, Keith Loeffler, and he really kept an eye on keeping the white ears of the bird, and he liked a little bigger bird, like the same as
Larger
violin.
frame, larger weight.
So we liked that. We wanted a little bigger bird.
We've got 6 kids, so we want to be able to cook one bird and at least have the majority of the kids all satisfied with whatever part of the bird they want to eat, and not very so much for leftovers other than the stock. So a small bird like the speckled Sussex, okay, for me, I like 3 eggs for breakfast, but with the speckled Sussex, she was having to make me 5 eggs because the eggs were a lot smaller. So switching over to the breast had a larger egg, so Buddy's back on 3 eggs a day rather than 5 smalls. And not only that, the amount of meat that we were getting off of our cull birds was enough to satisfy the family. So we're not about small birds. We want to have a bird that's got enough mass on it, enough weight that it's going to feed the family for a meal.
And that averages about 4.5 to 5.5 pound carcass bird. So we have continued breeding and continued learning, and we were just so blessed to have a mentor that could come out, look at our birds, confirm that we were seeing the right traits, and we were feeling the birds correctly, and we were calling for the correct characteristics of the breed, as well as just to gain knowledge from an older person in the business who had just done chickens for a long time and had had breasts for about 10 years. So he got them pretty much when they came in the country, had a lot of experience to pass on, and just little tricks of the trade and all just wonderful stuff.
So having a mentor when you're, so to speak, green at raising birds is absolutely crucial. I mean, we can't thank Keith Loeffler enough for the advice that he gave us, his comments, his critiques, of which we had to really put the screws to him to get out of him, because he was wanting to encourage us. But we wanted
to know his what he wanted to point out to.
Yeah. So it's good to get somebody that's going to be truthful and upfront, and in close enough of an area that what he says to you is actually going to apply. I mean, we're from Alaska. I mean, the stuff that we do down here in North Carolina with our watering system, with the feed, is not going to work up there. I mean, you get down to 20, 30 below winters. What do you have to do for a chicken coop? For crying out loud, we're using hoop greenhouses, and yes, it's 2 layers of plastic, but oh my God, you're going to need 8 inches worth of glass on the inside of that coop up there, and probably a good Toyo heater to keep your birds alive.
Have a lot of frozen chicken.
And oh geez, if you got a little bit of a draft, your watering system's going to freeze. Oh great, hey, they've got watering tubs that have got heating elements in them.
Oh yes, they do.
But you know what they smell like when they all dry up and you got all the crud on the heater element?
Not good. Anyway, so we're in North Carolina now, and North Carolina is very beautiful, and it is not too cold and it's not too hot. It's like absolutely perfect.
For us, we like it.
For us, yes. So we are here, and we have not a lot of land, but the birds they have a lot of space still. We're running about 33 square feet per bird in our runs, and 4 square feet per bird in our coops. So the birds have, and that I actually looked up was the standard for France. So we wanted to have that as a bare minimum for our birds. A lot of them have far more space than that. We do not free range. This bird is designed to be a free ranging bird, but frankly they're just far too valuable. And we have foxes, and we have coyotes, and we have owls, and we have occasionally had other critters that would love to eat chicken, like coons and possums, so we don't do that.
We're under the pine trees,
yes,
so we don't have any grass. We've got a little bit of grass that you saw in the video, and that's about it for us.
So no pasture. We don't have pasture.
No pasture, no opportunity for our birds to get greens if they're doing the foraging thing. We do have an arrangement with one of our local farmers markets,
Yep.
and he donates to us his leftover produce that doesn't make it. So we call out the citrus, not feed the citrus, and everything else from watermelon, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, onions.
Yeah, whatever
You
he
you name
has,
it that he's got that is aged out for his store. We're feeding to the birds, and we spread it throughout the pens, and so they get
Yep.
an alternative source other than the mixed feed that we get specially made up from our local grain mill.
So it's a little more vitamins and everything else good that's in veggies and fruit that they really like. And so we have no intentions of not having breasts. They're not a breed that's going to leave this farm. They are absolutely, I think, perfect homestead breed. They grow quickly. We're seeing eggs between 4 and 5 months old. Most breeds 30 weeks, 27.
Yeah, the speckled Sussex, which are a dual purpose
Yeah.
breed, probably almost at least a third to half again the amount of time to get them to lay.
Yeah, they were like 27 weeks when we first saw eggs. So the breasts, it's between 4 and 5 months. And you can butcher them as early as 16 weeks, but that would be without a finishing period. So we are finishing ours off between 16 and 22 weeks. Just depends on how long we're watching that particular bird to see if the quality's improved, they get a little more weight gain. So we kind of have a buffer period in there. And then they get their 3 weeks of milk-soaked feed, and then we butcher.
Yeah, and this is a business for us. So when we're calling out all our young, 8 weeks, we do a call, they're killed. But once we get around the 16 weeks, those we don't kill. So if they're going to be a hen, those birds, we've got enough people in our local area that there is a decent demand for a straight up egg layer.
Yes.
And so our hens, that we call, we notify the handful or more people, put word out that, hey, we've got 10 or 15 laying hens that are,
Not breeders.
they're not breeders. We're not selling these people roosters to go along with them. They're a backyard person that's right next to the city limits, and they can't have a rooster. They don't want a rooster. So that's where our call hens go. And so the only birds that we slaughter here on our homestead is the roosters. And again, that is once they are mature enough that it is economical for us with regards to the feed. So we're not going to raise up a bunch of 8-week-olers that aren't going to make the cut. Feed's too expensive. So they just go, you take the loss and move
When
on.
we're done, okay, baby? She wants some
So here's our
strawberries.
princess.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
wants a
had
strawberry.
it in the video there.
Yeah.
She wants some strawberries.
Uh,
That's the awesome thing about being a homesteader. Buddy's home now. Chickens are our sole livelihood for the most part, and so now he doesn't have to go to a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 3 or whatever job, and we can be home with our kids and be home for each other.
Yep.
And that
And
is
it's really a blessing.
very wonderful.
It's really wonderful to have your little 4-year-old come down while you're busy working in a coop and pick up some nails and a hammer and go start spiking a board. Don't have that when you're working for the man.
Yeah,
So
that's so true. Anything else?
not that I can think of it this
Okay.
time. I'm sure there'll be more
Yeah.
later to follow. Well, guys, have a good evening or a good morning whenever you choose to watch our video, and have a good day.
And bye-bye.